This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Quite the weekend coming up for those who live in the Houston area. Tomorrow we get the Houston Open. That starts. And then, of course, that'll be a 4-day event. Tomorrow early evening, you get the Sweet 16 right in the middle. Astros opening day at home against the Angels. Pretty good. And we head out to the Progressive guest line now as a longtime friend of the show. Jeff Seeley joins the program now to talk about the Houston Open. You can follow him on X at Cupmaker Jeff. And the Cupmaker podcast is going to be out next week. Hey, pal, thanks for the time as always. We appreciate that. Could you shoot like even par or a couple under here at this tournament?
Oh, guys, I mean, this. You mean me or anybody?
Okay.
I certainly could not, but the beauty of it is it's a public course, right? So we're at Memorial Park here, one of the nicer public courses in the U.S. And you imagine tipping this thing out. I mean, just going out to play with your buddies and you play the distance these guys play. They're playing a par 70, 7,400. So 7,400 is kind of the barometer of a shorter long course. If it's over 7,400, it's long. If it's under, it's short. 7,400 is about average. But when you make it a par 70, that becomes substantially longer, effectively like a 7,600 yard course. So this is going to play really long. It's going to be a really fun week, and I expect to see. Hasn't been a ton of rain, so I expect to see some scoring this week, and I think the winning score will be like it was last year, 20 under or so.
So you talked
to
Jeff,
us. You mentioned that winning score.
Oh, go ahead, Mike.
You mentioned that winning score around 20 under or so last year. How does, when you're going to a tournament where you know you're going to see low scoring, where you know people are going to have a lot of birdies and you can have fluctuation in the leaderboard, does that adjust how you're handicapping in some of these events? Or are you not as concerned around where the scoring is, just more who fits the course best?
I mean, honestly, look, yeah, you have to make birdies, right? And so certainly one of the things you look at this week is birdie or better percentage and guys who make birdies. There are a lot of guys, I'll take I'll use an example of J.J. Spaun at last year's U.S. Open, right? When was a really good score and you just had to grind it out and not make bogeys. Some weeks you really look at bogey avoidance. This week, birdies are as important as anything because if you're just going out there making pars, you're losing strokes on the field.
Okay, so then as we were kind of joking in the break, this is a true winner without Scotty event because he was going to be in it with Drew yesterday. And early in the season, you were actually kind of betting the winner without Scotty because before he kind of fell off a little bit, you kind of feared him that he could win basically any event. Are the odds pretty much the same right now compared to those events earlier in the year when it was actually a winner without Scotty when he was playing?
Yeah, Mitch, I think that's exactly the take, right? As the board adjusted, if you bet any of these guys when Scotty was still in, you certainly got a much better price than we have today, and I think that's exactly right. What we have today is effectively what the odds would have been in the winner without market.
I got to say, it is refreshing to look at this board and see the favorite at 15-1 and the prices going up from there, being able to actually play a golf tournament with big numbers there that are attached to it. So nice to not have Scotty around, although you can also play that winner without market here. So where are we going? Who do you like the most here when we're sitting staring at this leaderboard? Who fits this course the best of what we're expecting to see this weekend?
Honestly, guys, I can make a case for all of the top 8 guys at the top of the odds board. I can make a case for almost any of them. I'm not on Sam Burns this week, but I could certainly make a case for Min Woo, who won last year. You can make a case for about any of these. The guys that I bet at the very top of the board, I really started with Jake Knapp, and my primary play on Jake Knapp was the top 20 plus 110. I did put a little on the outright, but the only question with Jake Knapp is where is his game at, which is why I'm kind of taking the conservative route this week. The fact is we haven't really seen good Jake Knapp since the Genesis, which was almost 2 full months ago. So he was on fire leading into that. There was, a lot of people have been interested in playing Jake Knapp. Then he withdrew, and then he was sick, and there's all this kind of been this stuff, and then he struggled at the Players. So all that said, this course should fit him perfectly. He finished T27 here last year, which shows we know he can compete here. Now it's just a question of improving on that T27 and making a run on a Sunday. But I certainly like top 20 plus 110 a lot. And then Nicolai Højgaard, who's 27-1, comes in 6th on approach and 7th in driving distance, which is good. He's going to be a really good fit this week from just a pure model format. Gained off the tee here last year, but he did lose strokes with his irons. Something we've seen him correct coming into this week. His approach play has been substantially better this year than it was last year. So with the depth of the tops of the odds board, again, I'm taking a little bit of conservative path and taking Højgaard top 20 plus 125. And again, I am going to sprinkle it on the outright at the 27-1 as well.
Okay, so are we going to go directly from top of the board guys to your mid-tier players before we get to the bombs, and you're not even going to mention Brooks Koepka? Is that possible?
I mean, I'm taking a week off of Brooks, which means he'll probably win. But I mean, look, the form's there. What's interesting to me with Koepka, and I have, as you might imagine, I have watched every hole that he has played since he's been back. I haven't missed any. I've watched every hole he's played since he's been back, and every week the irons are really, really good. Every week the driver's a little better, and the putting's a little better, but they're still not where they need to be to win a Masters yet. So and with the depth of this field right now and just where Koepka's price is, I'm not going to play him this week yet. Does that mean I won't have him? And if he's in contention on a Sunday, I'm going to have some shares of him. But pre-flop, I'm not going to take him just because the driver has been a little bit inconsistent, as has the putting. But if we see good putting on Thursday and Friday, I can guarantee I'm going to be on him going into the weekend.
All right, so we're looking at Knapp and Nicolai Højgaard toward the top of the leaderboard. Mitch mentioned it, the middle pack. Who are we looking at here, 30+1 to possibly win this tournament?
Yeah, guys, so Ryan Gerard was at the top of the odds board a few months ago, and now we get him at a much more reasonable price in this 36-1 range. I really like his top 20 at plus 144 or so in the ties pay full market. He doesn't bomb it off the tee, but his ball striking is very strong. Having gained on approach in 7 of his last 8 events, was absolutely on fire in January, guys, when he had back-to-back runner-up finishes and then a T11. And since then, he's cooled off a little. Because of that, the price has come down. I look for Gerard to get back in form this week and at least finish inside the top 20. That's why I bet the 144. 48-1 seems like a great price on Wyndham Clark. Gained across the board here last year en route to a 5th-place finish. This year he comes in having gained strokes ball striking in 5 straight events. So I really like that play. And the struggles with Wyndham has been his putter, and he's really struggled with his putter lately. But he did gain over a stroke putting here last year, so maybe he can find some form on the greens, get things dialed in. Again, I played him primarily top 20 at plus 150, but I'm going to have a little bit on the 48-1. And then, guys, don't look now, but Tony Finau is 66-1 this week, is playing some good golf, and over the last 5 years, he is the number 1 in strokes gained in the state of Texas. He plays really well in Texas, has 3 top 20s this year already, and is clearly very comfortable playing in Texas. So while his putting hasn't been great, it hasn't been awful. And so getting him at over 2-1 top 20 feels like a really good price on a guy who already has 3 top 20s this year. Again, we're in Texas where he's comfortable, and 66-1. I think is a really good outright to throw some piece of money on Tony Finau this week.
Yeah, you might be able to get plus money on him to finish top 30, top 40 in that range as well. Is that big of a numbers out there on him? Okay, let's go to the bomb of the week, Jeff. Who are you looking at here?
Guys, my guy Yellow Majaro at 94-1 has done nothing but play good golf in the last 6 weeks. If he plays well again this week, we're not going to see him north of 90 again. His top 20 price is better than $3, extremely appealing. In the last 3 months, he's 10th on approach and 3rd in good driving percentage in this field. He is playing phenomenal golf. T13 at Sony, T17 at Cognizant, T37 in Puerto Rico, and then just finished T5 at the Players. Get on board now, guys. Get on my guy now. I do not think we're going to see him this price for the rest of the year. Play him top 40, top ladder, this guy, 40, 30, 20, 10, and a little on the outright. I think this is our last chance to buy low on this guy.
Very good. Follow Jeff on X at Cupmaker Jeff, and the Cupmaker podcast is going to return next week. He joined us here on the Progressive Guest Line. By the way, tip of the cap, nice job on Fitzpatrick to get on the outright board last week, and go get him again this week, buddy.
Thanks, fellas. Take care.
Yep, be good. There you go. Jeff Seeley. This part of the show brought to you by Sharp Plays, founded in 2011. The Sharp Plays just completed another dominant run, including a 2025 campaign that saw bankrolls double, 15 straight years of winning, and it's all documented. Records and logs posted publicly at sharpplays.com for full performance auditing, something that separates the Sharp Plays from most of the betting industry. When the Sharp Plays moves, Sportsbooks take notice. Advanced AI tools and trusted insider intelligence, identifying price value before the numbers shift. Respected, watched, and feared. Start winning with them at sharpplays.com. Mike, I'm pretty proud of myself because, numbers for the Masters are posted for the full year. Like as soon as the event is done in a couple of weeks, I'll have them up for next year. So typically when the event comes around, I have like 10, 12 guys. I'm like, oh, God, this is dumb. I do it every single year. I'm at six guys, and I don't think I'm going to add any more. So I can take that. I can take 6 guys on the outrights to win the Masters. And up next, I want to run down the teams that have been the most profitable in Major League Baseball over the last 5 years. It's there's a common theme here, and Mike wants to dive in on this as well coming up.
Hey, let me get your attention real quick, podcast listeners. It's March, which means the madness is officially upon us, and the folks at VSiN have gone crazy with this one. For $29.99, you get unlimited access to VSiN Pro through May 1st. I'm talking picks throughout the tournament, public betting data for every single game, sharp tools, projections, articles, and more, which means every day you wait is an opportunity missed. Just click the link in the description to get started. It's March, baby. Now back to the show.
Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah. This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Welcome in. We're live in Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino. Mitch Moss along with Mike Somich. Paulie's out for the day. And Follow the Money is brought to you by ProfitX. Right now, you can compete to become the King of March and win free trips up to $10,000. Download the ProfitX app and use the code VSiNMM. As I stated, first hour of the show, my favorite way to bet baseball has turned into the most wins in a given month, that market, and it's available typically at 3 different books, as that's all I'm aware of anyway. DraftKings, Caesars, and Circle will put them up. I'll explain more on that coming up here in a minute, but we go out to the Progressive guest line now because a guy who is dynamite at breaking this stuff down, a guy that I talk to every month before we actually make bets in this market, now going back a good couple of years, is Chris Belm, sports bettor who lives in the Midwest, and he joins the program now. Chris, thanks for the time today. How are you, buddy?
Yeah, doing well, Mitch. Appreciate you having me on. Happy to talk about this.
This has been successful over the years, but I want to begin with this. And you tweeted out the numbers as well that you put together. I just quote tweeted it as well. You're on X at Belm Chris, BELLM Chris. Where does your monthly handicap or projections really start with this market, Chris?
Yeah, so like you mentioned, this is something that's really taken off the last couple of years. You and I have really talked about it, especially last year. It's just a fun way to bet baseball futures, and you're not tying up your money for a full season necessarily. And it started about a year and a half ago, talking with a buddy. We were looking at this market. We wanted to bet this on a regular basis and find a way that we could project the expected win totals for each team each month and try to find value, right? So we simplified some things. We developed, there was 3 different criteria. So let's look at every team's expected win percentage. So we use win totals that are for the regular season. So look at Circa. Okay, you have a expected win total for the regular season. You take that win percentage for that team, you plug that in. That's data set number 1. You basically use those win totals as well for the opponents that they are playing any given month. So you kind of have a blended average for opponents' win percentage for the full month for your second data set. And then for the third, it's just total games played. That's obviously going to have a factor into how many games you can win in any given month. So you take those 3 together, and that's going to generate the total projected wins for every team that way. And then you can really just start value hunting, basically, going down the board and seeing who might pop.
Now, with this first month, we obviously have a little less information than when we get further along into the season. Are you basically coming up with the win percentages based off of the win totals that are set by the books? Are you using last season's win percentage, a mixture of both, your own secret flavor? How are you getting to these win numbers for each of these teams?
Trying to keep it as simple as possible out of the gate, right? There's a lot of unknowns, a lot of variables, especially early on. So just using the books, win totals, plugging that in, and that's going to kind of apply the formula. Now, as we get 1 month under our belt, 2, 3, 4, it's going to change a little bit. We're going to use actual records and weigh out a little bit. Even after the first month, I'm still going to use part of the preseason, going into the season projected win totals, but then start weighing in the actual records for when you're using that team itself and the opponent's averages. Yep.
Okay, so this is going to be typically what you're going to see when you put this stuff out, right? The team projected to win the most games will be the Los Angeles Dodgers. Probably every single month when you put the numbers together, they're going to be the team at the top. You project them for a little bit more than 20 wins in March and April. However, they are 3-1 at both DraftKings and Caesars. Circa is not posted yet. They're going to do that later on, and it's going to be for April only. I would say that if you have blindly bet the Dodgers over the last 3 years to win this market, you are down probably quite a few units. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that, and it's the baseball version of Scotty Scheffler. I feel like this is you got to know what you're getting into. Yeah, you probably feel comfortable with the Dodgers winning most games, but I like to basically get into the double-digit odds teams when looking at this market. It's interesting. The volatility in this market is crazy. Last year there were 6 months, obviously, that this market was open. 9 different teams either won it outright or tied. 9 different teams. There were no repeat winners last year. That I thought was pretty interesting. And I think you and I even joked at the start of last year, like we might need a without Dodgers market for this to even like consider betting this. Because they were going to win 115, 120 games, right? Just did not happen. They dead heated the very first month with the Mets, and they did not win another month the rest of the way.
Now, you mentioned there's this available at limited number of books. So Caesars, DraftKings, and Circa, and you mentioned dead heat a couple times there. What is the rules differences that we see from each of these books, and how does that affect where you want to be able to bet some of these teams?
Yeah, super important to know the house rules. So Circa does have a tiebreaker. It is least losses, so least games played. If there is a dead heat or if there is a tie, and then run differential if that first tiebreaker did not settle it. The other books, they do have the dead heat rules where you're splitting that. So if you have a similar number at Circa and DraftKings or Caesars, you just need to understand how many games that team's playing. Would you win the tiebreaker in most cases at Circa? Then you probably want to bet there. If not, you might want to look otherwise.
Yeah. So here's the example, right? And you have this in your chart as well. I go down the projected wins, and you have Milwaukee middle of the pack at like 16.11 this year. But if you like Milwaukee to have the most wins by the end of April, they only play 30 games, right? A bunch of other teams play 31 or 32. And the Padres also play only 30 games. If you're going to bet either one of those teams and you have access to Circa, I think you have to bet them at Circa because that's, again, the tiebreaker is going to come into play and least amount of games played is going to be the edge. So you really want to have more games to win this thing, but not when that's the tiebreaker, especially if you like them a lot.
100%. And vice versa. You might want to bet at a different book if they have more games played than the other, because you're least likely to win that tiebreaker at Circa potentially. So you just got to know, and it's going to be number dependent too, right? So, you might be paying a price to get, 30-1 compared to 40-1 on a certain team. And you just got to kind of play that out based on the house rules.
Now, I am not someone who has played this market before.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, finish your thought.
Yeah. So I like to kind of, like I said, value hunt once we have all these numbers. It's an original reference point, right? So a lot of times what you have in these projections is Dodgers always number one, and then a huge lump of teams that are all within about 1 to 2 wins of each other. And whenever you shop around and look at these, odds for all of these books, you might see these teams that are within the same group that are 15-1, 20-1, and then all of a sudden one's right in the middle at 40-1. And it's not necessarily an auto bet, but it's something you want to take a closer look at to see, okay, what does their schedule look like? Are there any injuries that I need to be aware of? Home away splits potentially, and just kind of, take a deeper dive.
That was perfect because I was going to ask you about some of the odd splits that we're going to see here. I'm not someone who played this much last year, and what jumps out to me immediately are looking at the Mets and the Braves, who are currently 3rd and 4th for this specific month. And you've got them, one book we're looking at 5-1 on the Mets. They're 11-1 at DraftKings. If you talk about the Braves, they're plus 650 at DraftKings, but 14-1 at Caesars. Is it common to see that big of a gap between books? Is that mainly? I'm assuming it's because they've taken that specific book took money on the team, so they adjusted the pricing. But do you see that large of gaps even further into the season?
There definitely can be, especially the openers. It's important to kind of look at that. I feel like by the time this market's closed each month, they're a little closer to each other. But these openers can be pretty far off. I will make a note though. At DraftKings, I believe they posted it for April only, so that could play a role in why these numbers are a little bit different than Caesars, where Caesars is offering March plus April.
Okay, very good. Chris Belmar, guest. Most wins in a given month. Beginning, again, pay attention because March and April can be a little bit dicey with the rules there. So having said all of that, who have you landed on so far to actually win this bet?
Yeah. So made a short list because there's a lot of teams that I was really looking at here, but it's the Baltimore Orioles at 40-1 at Caesars. They're still at 35-1. That's moved a little bit, but I like that. A lot of teams that are projected right around their same win total is kind of what I said earlier, where you've got 15-20-1 that are very similar to the Orioles projected win total. I like the top of that lineup quite a bit with the addition of Alonso, the rotation. No ace that really pops out to me necessarily, but I think they've got a good starting five that to give them a chance to win every night. They've got 18 of those 31 games at home. 3 of those 13 road games are against the White Sox. So I kind of take my chances with that number on the Orioles.
Yeah, it's interesting too. Orioles 16-1 on DraftKings, 35 as you mentioned on Caesars. So another pretty big gap there. How many teams do you usually bet a month?
Yeah, it's a good question. I try 3 is the max. I don't even want to get there necessarily, but 3 would be the max. Try to get 1 or 2 usually each month that pop out. Yep.
Very good.
And then hopefully you're at least alive toward the end of the month, and you can have some fun with maybe some hedging.
Okay. Are you going to tweet out your projections at the end of every month?
Yeah, that's the plan. Yeah, we'll do this. We'll do this every month throughout the season for sure.
As long as you get your bets in first, then you can tweet them out, share them with everyone. Make sure you follow Chris on X. He's at BelmChris, BELM Chris. That was awesome, man. Thanks so much for the time today.
All right, thanks a lot.
He joined us on the Progressive Guest Line. Mike Palm next. He loves betting Major League Baseball. We'll get to tonight's lid lifter and his future bets for the 2026 season coming up next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
All right, fun spot there with Chris Belm talking about the most wins Major League Baseball in a given month. Mitch Moss along with Mike Samich in for Paulie Howard today. This is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. It is Wednesdays with the Maestro as Mike Palm, the VP of this great property, joins us now in studio. How are you, pal?
Hello, Mitch. Hello, Mike. How are you guys doing?
Doing well. You guys have not posted the most wins yet. I talked to Chris Bennett last night / today, and he is going to post, I think, later on this week, at least for April. He told me that he's going to have the most wins for April available.
Yeah, he'll have it available. I think he'll have it available by the weekend. It's been a growing market, as you well know. You love to dabble in it.
Do you?
I'm not that smart. I don't have the kind of time on my hands that you folks do that can really analyze everybody's schedules and the spin rates and the launch angles and the XFIP and the BABIP and all this nonsense. If I had more time, maybe I could. I'm behind on my baseball research too. I don't know. I mean, I should have been ahead of it. Means it's probably going to be the last season for a while, but I'm going to have to learn as we go here.
Okay, so
well, we get it going tonight, Mike. We've got baseball officially first pitch tonight with San Francisco and the New York Yankees here. Do you have anything in this game, or are you just going to enjoy it and watch this one?
I will enjoy watching this one in and out between some hockey action tonight.
Between the two games that are on the schedule.
Yeah, they did a great job. They did a great job stepping aside for stepping. There was a good night last night. I have to tell you, it was an entertaining night of hockey. That Vancouver Anaheim game was a terrific, wide open game if you enjoy offensive hockey. But yes, we're coming down to the last 10, 12 games in the NHL, Mitch. So there's a lot to be decided here, and I know a couple teams that needed wins last night in the East didn't get them, but for the most part, when you talk about playing tanking theory in the NBA, it's pretty much held true this season in the NHL. So just look out for the teams that need to win versus the teams who need to get draft position.
Can I get you to dive into some prop markets this year? For example, like tonight, would you look at Logan Webb with the strikeouts? You look at him with the outs prop tonight, Mike.
How about total pitches? Do they offer that? Is that it? Can you get that? I'd love. I would go for outs for Logan Webb.
Okay.
I have to tell you, we'll bring this up at some later time, Mitch, when we can delve into this. But the top scouts and one top scout and executive from each major league team was asked to rate aces. It's a compilation poll of who are the aces in Major League Baseball. And so my friend challenged me, how many guesses would it take for me to get the top 10 aces? And I said, I can do it in under 14 and a half guesses was my bet, like bid a note on Name That Tune. I didn't make it. It took me 16 guesses.
16 guesses.
Logan Webb was solidly, I believe, number 7 on this list. When you think about an ace, right? You think about a guy that's going to eat up a bunch of innings for your team, too, and go out there and go up against the number 1 starter for the most part. And I think Logan Webb does define that. Now, my friend Amal Shaw, who I co-hosted a show with on this network for 19 months, used to call Logan Webb a 9-high flush. It's a very good hand, but it gets beat by better. So, but he does fit the definition. I said I needed one clue on this list. I said, how many Dodgers are there, 2 or 3? And the answer was 2. And so I guessed Yamamoto and Snell. Snell, no, did not make the top 10. Yamamoto was 4th, and Ohtani was 9th.
Ohtani made it as one of the top 10
I didn't think he would make it because
aces.
of the, is he going to pitch, isn't he, and how many starts and innings is he going to throw? He made it as number 9.
That surprised you, Mike?
Yeah, that's shocking to me.
Yep.
I'm surprised that Ohtani showed up on that list. Was there anyone else that surprised you when you were going through these guesses that was on the top 10?
No, Zach Wheeler was a surprise for me.
Just because
he wasn't in the top 10. And I am not, it's go Scooble Skeens right off the bat, right? So I agree with that. I would have had Christopher Sanchez was 5th. There wasn't any really surprises. So for me, I'm not a Max Fried guy. I would not put Max Fried in my top 10. I think Max Fried came in 6th. So to me, Fried is overrated. But it's an interesting list of what scouts think. And DeGrom was still in the top 10 at number 10. It took me a while to get there as well.
Crochet in the number 3?
Crochet ended up 3rd. I would go Yamamoto 3,
okay,
Sanchez 4, Crochet 5 if I was doing that list. That's the only thing I quibble with the top 5. I'd reverse the order a little bit.
All right. Well, you have a great saying on this network. You like to call fake aces.
Yeah.
Would you qualify Ohtani as a fake ace?
I think Ohtani's. I don't know what we've seen yet of Ohtani. I don't know that we have a big enough body of. I want to see Ohtani pitch more. To be honest with you, for what I want to see out of the Dodgers, it's Ohtani pitch more. Now, I was one of the critics, and people called me an Ohtani denier when I said Salvi Perez should have won the MVP in the American. What year was that? 24, 20, whatever. Because I said every start they put Ohtani up on a Tuesday night against the Omaha Storm Chasers. It seemed like he was pitching against the Royals AAA team every night, right? And we've seen in starts he had when he was with the Angels in Yankee Stadium, he was awful under the spotlight and a big city in that. So I think his stuff is outstanding. Obviously, he was great in the World Baseball Classic last time out when he struck out Trout and all that. I would like to see Ohtani pitch more. And he may very well be a top 10 pitcher.
Do you think we'll actually see him pitch more, though? I mean, this is a Dodgers team that doesn't necessarily need to go with a 5-man rotation, doesn't necessarily need to run him out there consistently. Their win total was as high as 104 earlier during the offseason. It's 102.5 right now. There's no one in this division that can really threaten them over a 162-game sample size. What's the actual pressure on this Dodgers organization to have him on the mound?
No, they just want to get to October. That's all they want to do, right? And if I were them, I'd pitch Yamamoto the least amount I could all year. After you used him up as a Japanese pitcher, used to be in a 6-man rotation. You used him up very hard in October last year, I would just try to have Yamamoto. I want all these guys healthy, right? These teams get disinterested too, as you see along the way. Look at the Colorado Avalanche, Mike, in a sport we love in hockey. These teams get out to such big leads, and they're so good, they get disinterested, and they're just waiting for the playoffs to get here.
Yeah. Ohtani, by the way, in a spring training start, 11 Ks in 4+ innings. That's one good-looking example for him anyway, but can he do that? And are they going to put him out there 6 innings? Like, what's the longest that he's going to last in a game this year?
Depends on maybe if he has a no-hitter going or something like that. Although that doesn't really seem to matter for Davey Roberts. We've seen him pull people with no-hitters going. I mean,
Yep.
they're the combined no-hitter kings. But we'll see. I mean, he still wants to stress what he can do as an athlete too, obviously, and that's what makes him this unicorn, is the fact that he can do both at such a high level.
Yeah, he's mentioned that the most important award for him is a Cy Young, that he wants a Cy Young. It's going to be tough to win one in the NL with Skeens et al., who are all inside that conference there. Yeah. I do want to bring it back to hockey real quick here, Mike, because I know you're just bursting at the seams to talk about it. And I have been loading up on a specific Eastern Conference team, so I want to get your take on this here. I started playing Ottawa at +150 to make the playoffs, played them at +130, +110, played them at 25-1, 22-1, and just rebet them at 17-1 to win the Eastern Conference. They're one of the top teams from a Corsi perspective, one of the top teams from a Fenwick perspective. If you go and you look at their struggles this season, it's been when their starting goalie, Olmark, has been out. Do you have the same love for Ottawa that I kind of developed over this last month and a half or so?
So I've had that love for 2 years, Mike. I've been on this team for 2 years. That this was going to end. This was just the way I am on Anaheim. I thought this was the start of their arc this year, and I bet the Ducks at 3-1 to make the playoffs and 100-1 to win the Cup. I never thought Coach Q would have them on top in the Pacific this late in the year. I've been on this Ottawa team, and we saw them get to the playoffs and give Toronto a hard time in the first round. I love this Ottawa team, and this East, it's wide open, right? It's a wide open East. Everybody's bunched up. They're probably going to set the record for the team with the highest point total to not make the playoffs in the history of the NHL. There's probably going to be a team with 98 would set the record. It's pacing for 99, doesn't make the playoffs this year. So they got to get in. They've been impressive in these big games against Detroit when they're in head-to-head competitions with these teams that they're chasing. And they brought Olmark over to be the number one guy, right? I mean, this was what he was going to be. He was the number one guy with Swayman on that record-setting team with Boston when he got injured. Olmark and didn't know, and Montgomery didn't know, and they got upset by the Panthers in the first round. This is why you brought him over. He got through all whatever the mental/infidelity issues were and moved on here. I think this is a very, very dangerous team. I actually think that Ottawa, Columbus, and Buffalo are the most dangerous teams to come out of the East. I just don't like the prices. Carolina's never built to win in the playoffs, and I think Tampa Bay might be up against it this year. But for price shots, those are the three teams I like in the East.
Very good. Follow the Money, brought to you by ProfitX. If you're not on ProfitX yet, now is the time. Sign up April 6th. Purchase at least $25 and get a free $25 as well. Then jump into their King of March contest. You could win free trips worth up to $5,000 or even $10,000. Just use the code VSINMM. Make your first purchase, then learn about the contest on their homepage and start playing. No entry fee required. Hit $1,000 in volume. You're entered to win the $5,000 trip. Hit $10,000 in volume and you're entered for the $10,000 trip. Win 10 picks, hit the volume, and every additional 10 wins gets you another entry. Download ProfitX, use the code VSINMM, make your first purchase, and take your shot at becoming the King of March. More with the Maestro, Mike Palm, VP of Circle Las Vegas, coming up on Follow the Money. It's VSIN, the Sports Betting Network. He'll explain why it helps when announcers know the score and you cannot be serious. Next.
This is Follow the Money on VSIN.
Time now for some best bets. Sweet 16 underway tomorrow night and Friday. We go out to the Progressive Guest Line. VSIN host Matt Youmans joins the program now, as he does every Wednesday at this time. Matt, thanks for the time as always. We appreciate that. As I said before the break, you are a Purdue alum. You have a good pulse on this team. You find yourself betting on their games frequently. So what have you done in this game as they take on Texas, a team that was in the first four?
I took Texas +8 right away when this thing opened Sunday night, and I'd actually just about half hour ago I bet Texas +8 again. I was out at the Red Rock Sportsbook and they got 7.5. I just bought the half point to -120. I really like this bet. Purdue's number one in offensive efficiency on Ken Palm right now, 22 for 38 from three-point range in 2 tournament games. And Braden Smith is going to be great in the pick and roll here against this Texas defense. But this is going to be a grinder. This is going to be a half-court game. And I think where Texas has an edge here is with their bigger guards. Dalen Swain, 6'8", Tremont Mark, 6'5". And Purdue's got smaller guards like Braden Smith and Fletcher Loyer. And C.J. Cox, who's Purdue's best perimeter defender, has a hyperextended knee, and he did not practice today. He might be limited minutes tomorrow. That's a big deal, actually, if you know the personnel of this Purdue team, because defending Swain, Mark, Pope, that's not going to be easy. And then you got the 7-footer Mattis Bokatitis inside, who does not get pushed around in the paint. I think the Longhorns are capable of playing Big Ten-style basketball. I know their defensive rating looks weak on Kim Palm at 81, but they've actually tightened things up a lot better here in the tournament, 68.3 points a game. And in a half-court grinder, I think this could be a lot like the Miami-Purdue game was over the weekend. Take the +8, 7.5 or 8, and play this under 149.
Now, I love betting teams to win their region right now. When we're down to just 4, it feels like you can get a little bit better idea of what they're going to do. Right now, inside that region, Texas 18-1. Is Texas worth a flyer at 18-1 to be able to upset Purdue and then possibly Arizona?
No, I wouldn't bet that. I wouldn't bet that at all because Texas wins this game. It's not going to beat Arizona. Well, I mean, if you're betting 18-1, you're saying, well, there's a chance Arkansas could upset Arizona, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only way you would bet it. If you think Arkansas can beat Arizona, then go ahead and play it. I don't think that's going to happen. So I would not play that. If you're going to bet a team to win a region, I think you bet Houston to win the Houston region. If anything, get plus money instead of laying the 2.5 or 3 against Illinois.
Okay, so is that what you've done in that game? It's been kind of all over. Open up 2.5, bet the 3.5, and now at most books it looks like the Cougars kind of a de facto home game as well. Although again, not their home court, but a mile away from campus. But it's back down to 2.5, Matt, against the Illini.
I actually took 3.5 for the Illini, but like Mike was just saying, I bet Houston to win this region and plus money too. And I think this game's going to be a coin flip. These teams are so evenly matched, man. Cougars number 4 in defensive rating, behind Duke, Michigan, and Arizona. And in the last 3 wins, they've allowed 50.3 points against some decent offenses. They also play slow, 351 in tempo, but their guards are really good. Kingston Fleming, Emmanuel Sharp, and Milos Uzan are outstanding guards. Illinois obviously has really good guards too, and I think the thing the Illini can do with big guards and impressive size at all positions across the floor, they create mismatches. They spread the floor with shooters. Actually, they rebound well in the offensive and defensive end. I think this one goes down to the wire. I really do. So take the 3.5 or take Houston, which is a tougher team. I think the toughness might win out in the end. I think Houston grinds out a really narrow victory here over Illinois. An Illinois team, by the way, that's got a lot of experience losing close games.
Yeah, I'm with you, Matt. I took Houston plus 120 to win the region. If they're able to get past this game and you get the winner of that Iowa game, the Iowa game against Nebraska, you got 2 slower-paced teams. Houston should be able to handle both of them on the defensive end. I think they coast if they're able to get past this Illinois team. Another game where you're looking toward the under, and I agree with you on this one as well, St. John's on Friday going to be taking on Duke here. And this is a Duke team still without their starting point guard, hoping to get him back if they are able to make the Final Four, but not going to play this weekend.
Yeah, Caleb Foster's not going to play, and you can tell that makes a difference because Duke's half-court offense has not been very fluid. And they've actually had to rely on Cameron Boozer, who's a power forward, to initiate the offense a lot of times. Isaiah Evans is a big key in this game. I was talking with a friend today who loves St. John's in this game like I do. And I took 7 with the Johnnies. I've got them to win this region. I've got them 90-1 to win the whole thing. Obviously, St. John's has offensive shortcomings. They shoot 33% from 3. But they got defense. They got rebounding. They've got toughness. They got everything they need to make this an ugly game that frustrate Duke and frustrate Cameron Boozer. Mitch, as a Wisconsin Badgers fan who watched the 2015 national championship game, you know the Duke sometimes gets the calls. And what I'm concerned about with this game is it's going to be fairly officiated. And hopefully the Rick Pitino factor does mitigate that a little bit. And I was talking with Bobby Brubeck about this today because he likes St. John's a lot. I said, look, if the whistle's going to be tight, that's going to be a problem for St. John's. If they put Zuby Ejiofor in foul trouble, I'm going to hate that. But Boozer has been to the free throw line 19 times in 2 tournament games. The officiating in the second half against TCU was criminal. Hopefully we get a fairly officiated game here. Look, St. John's is 21-1 since early January. They got everything it takes to beat Duke if they can knock down a few threes. Here's the problem. Duke's going to pack in its defense and dare the Red Storm to shoot threes. Hopefully they don't shoot too many of them and they attack the rim. But I like taking the 7, and I like this under 142.
It's an amazing region, great coaches. Atmosphere is going to be off the charts as well. And you have an opinion on the other game as well. Hurley against Izzo. UConn a small favorite. Who do you like in this game? Well, I'm playing Danny Hurley here. And I know that Tom Izzo's got the magic and March factor, and he's got the best point guard in Jeremy Fears. And that's the one matchup edge that Michigan State does have here. But Hurley's 15-1 against the spread the past few tournaments for a reason. And this Huskies team has holes, unlike the previous back-to-back championship teams he had. But again, Alex Karaban, Terrace Reed are playing at an extremely high level right now. Probably Karaban's playing his best ball of the season. 49 points in 2 tournament games. Terrace Reed, 41 points and 40 rebounds in the 2 tournament games. Braylon Mullins, freshman shooting guard, is really starting to mature and knock down big shots. If Solo Ball can step up and knock down some threes, which he was not doing last week, UConn's going to find a way to win this game. I like the Huskies here laying the short number or the money line.
Now, Matt, you are in the contest, the Circa College Hoops Challenge here. How are you doing so far this year? And then when are we expecting the next round of picks to come out here?
Well, the contest is led by Paul Stone right now. He's the defending champ. He won it last year. He's trying to go back to back, and he's the Danny Hurley of this contest right now. But I would say the deadline for picks is 6 p.m. tonight. So the VSiN Pro emails are going to go out. We got 15 handicappers with 5 plays for the Thursday and Friday games. One's designated a best bet. I'll tell you, I designated St. John's my best bet. It was either going to be St. John's or Texas. So the plays will be out, VSiN Pro tonight. Dustin Sweetelson's going to announce him on the plays on his show at 8 p.m. Pacific time. All right.
You're also a big Yankees fan, and we have opening night tonight as Max Fried takes on Logan Webb. Great ballpark up in the San Francisco Bay Area. Let me ask you this. There's a prop bet offshore. Will Aaron Boone be fired before the 2027 season? The yes is 3-1. Do you have any interest in betting that?
Not really, because Hal Steinbrenner and Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone are all like the Three Stooges. They all stick together. And no matter how bad it gets, they're not going to fire Aaron Boone, apparently. Bubble Boy's got a job for life. I guess that's the way it looks. So I don't want to bet that. I think the Yankees are going to win 90-plus games. I'll tell you one bet I took on futures. I did not play. I was thinking about playing the Yankees tonight, actually. But Logan Webb. Logan Webb of the Giants. I bet him at 20-1 to win the NL Cy Young. He led the National League in innings 3 consecutive years with 200-plus, led the league in strikeouts at 224 last year. I like Logan Webb at 20-1. That's a pretty good bet.
Very good.
And on the Yankees side, I took a shot with this. I know we're about out of time, but Cam Schlittler, the young right-hander, shut down the Red Sox in the wild card game 3 with 8 scoreless innings and 12 strikeouts. He's 50-1 at DraftKings to win the AL Cy Young. I got him at the Westgate Superbook at 300-1. And I like that Yankees-oriented bet there.
Wow, that's a little bit of a difference, I'd say. You can follow Matt on X at Matt Humans 24/7. Thanks, Matt. We appreciate it.
Okay, you bet. Thanks.
Download the free Upside app. Use the promo code NETWORK to start earning real cash back on gas, groceries, and dining. Stuff that you need anyway. Here's how it works. Just open the Upside app and claim a cash back offer at a location near you. Shop as usual and then earn real cash back. It's that easy. You can cash out directly into your bank account, PayPal, or gift cards. With over 5 million users already earning, this is one of the easiest ways to save on everyday purchases. Download the free Upside app now. Use the promo code NETWORK to get 25 cents back per gallon on your first tank. Offers vary by user and location. See upside.com for details. When I did this earlier this year, you fire up the app, You go to it, I need gas, and it automatically recognizes where you are, and it pops up with like several gas stations, and you save this much here, this much there. It's that easy, and you get the cash back right away. In Pocket Plays coming up next, and Mike has a 17-1 future bet that he likes in the National Hockey League. Find out what that is next.